Good evening and thank you. I was asked to write a speech, but at the end of the day, I felt like our story was probably the best way to tell it. Tonight, I'm joined with my wife, Vanessa, and our three amazing kids, Mia, Madison, and Tommy. And bear with me. I don't speak in front of people. I've never done it. I'm a fireman by trade. This isn't easy for me. So, on September 21st, 2019, our family was made complete. We welcomed our son, Tommy, into the world. Already having two daughters, it was an unknown secret, or a known secret, that when my wife found out she was pregnant with our third kid, that we wanted a boy. There was no secrets behind that. So we never found out about any of our kids' sexes prior. No gender reveals, no nothing. We waited till the day in the delivery room to find out. That morning going into it, even the nurses and the doctors were behind us. And still to this day, they talk about my reaction in the delivery room and my wife when they pulled Tommy out and he was a boy. You know, I might have yelled some expletives and other things along there. You know, there was a penis, and that was the biggest thing that I cared about. See, this is why I went off, and then that's why. So, living on cloud nine at that point, it's 10 days later, and we're at home, and the phone rings. And my wife answers. She's talking and talking, and then all of a sudden, I realize something's wrong. I could relive that vividly, like I'm standing there right now in my kitchen looking into my den, my wife dropping to the floor, and I knew something was wrong. I had to take over the phone call at that moment and try and comprehend what I was being told on the other line. Your son has a rare genetic disease called Krabbe's disease. And again, at this time, I have no idea what they're saying. I just hear that something's wrong, and your son has it. That doctor on the other end is telling me, but no, don't worry, just come see us, come, we'll get you through it. But, until you're standing in those shoes, you don't know what that's about. I've been in many positions in my life, in my career, where I've done things that I didn't think I could do, and that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. The next few weeks, even month, there was so much uncertainty. A small stat about Krabbe disease is when my son was diagnosed, he was the 26th known child in the state of New York with that disease. We went back and forth to doctors, and we would go to a doctor's appointment. They would talk to us about certain things about the disease. Then we would leave there with a little bit of hope. And as soon as that hope was building up, the next morning we'd wake up and there's a call, got to get him in. He needs a brain MRI. We need more blood tests. And it was like he just got knocked back down. Frustration grew with us because nobody knew answers. Thankfully, University of Stony Brook Hospital on Long Island, there was a young neurologist who took to Tommy and his case and sought out a doctor in Pittsburgh. This doctor in Pittsburgh, at the time, was treating 206 kids from around the world for Krabbe disease. She was known as the doctor, the go-to doctor, if you wanted to help your child. There are kids in this world that were told by their doctors, go home, take pictures, take videos, make memories, because it's not gonna last. And as a parent, that's not an answer that you could, accept. So when we were told Pittsburgh, we're like, okay, we'll make it work, whatever it is, So the first time we went down there, we went on a commercial flight, and talk about your head spinning, right? I mean, now I have to go to an airport with a 2-month-old. I have to figure out getting from an airport to a hotel. Then when I get to the hotel, I'm like, do you guys get us to the hospital? And the hotel's looking at me like, who are you? Like, I forget that I'm just a regular person at a hotel. I'm not being treated as, so everything is just a whirlwind. The stress of like, what am I going to be told when I go to that hospital? Sorry, I lost myself there. Now, after that first trip and getting kind of like a game plan as to how we're going to treat my son, how they're going to look after him, and, I guess, the routine is we're going to go down there every 3 months for the first year, every 6 months for the second year, and then we'll reevaluate after that. In talking, we finally started to disclose some of this information to our family. And my wife's uncle worked for Falcon Jets. He was a contract manager. And he mentioned PALS. We looked into it. And a part of it was like, no, we can do this. We're going to do it. And then COVID hit. And it was like, you not getting down there on a plane. You're, a 7-hour drive with a 6-month-old isn't happening. So we looked into PALS. And thankfully, you guys were there. We've now used you guys for 2 years, and the experience has been unbelievable. Working with Amanda Malili from out of the Farmingdale office, from our first phone call with her, she explained to us, we got you. Don't worry about that. That stress of what you guys are going through to actually just get there, that's off the table. We'll take care of that. PALS, that's our job. You show up, and essentially, again, people might not understand, but to be able to just drive your car next to a plane, offload your infant with your bags onto a plane, then get to where you have to be, and then, if you have it set up, there's a car waiting. Like, it was that stress of having to travel was gone. And our focus was on our son. And fortunately, I know he's here tonight because I saw him. We had the pleasure of flying with, for 4 times, Patrick Murphy. Patrick is amazing. My wife hates to fly. But if it's him, that's out of her mind. Flying's out of his mind. The guy knows what he's doing up there. He's unbelievable. And then second to none, he treats my son like he's his own. And that is one thing that we have learned throughout the whole experience with PALS. I know there's another pilot here, Larry. When we got back after he flew us home from Pittsburgh, he made it a point when he saw my son and saw his personality to bring him to his private hangar and put him on his private fighter jet, and made us feel like we were $1 million for that 10 minutes, when we got home. In closing, through everything that we go through as parents, the stress, like for our children, we don't know what tomorrow brings. And if throughout this whole process, one little thing as travel could make, that like one less thing that we have to think about, or the stress that I have to think about before we have to set up to go to Pittsburgh and go through all these tests. I mean, I know for our family, it's 3 full days of tests every time that we have to go to Pittsburgh. Between PALS Foundation itself, the pilots, and then even just the donors here. From my family, extended, we are forever grateful for what you guys do. And I could just say thank you.